Well, what happened was that for several days I'd had a bit of back pain and a pain in my side, but it hadn't been too bad, and I'd just been doing normal things. But on the morning of the day on which all this occurred, very early in the morning, I had really a pretty severe spasm of pain in my right side. It was very bad, and I just, from that point, just tried to kind of brace myself so that I could have minimum movement and have the least risk of this pain coming back. It did, of course, from time to time. By the end of the day, it was really just as bad, or I would say even a bit worse, and I'd been kind of paralysing myself all day, trying not to move. I hadn't been out of the bed, I hadn't been to the toilet or anything, because I just couldn't envisage moving. So my wife phoned the doctor's surgery. By that time, actually, they'd finished up for the day. She phoned NHS 24. They contacted the ambulance service immediately, and an ambulance came pretty quickly, I would say. Within a few minutes, an ambulance was there. And the two members of the crew came up the stairs. Their names were Alistair and Joanne, which I discovered, during the course of what happened. And they were very good. I mean, they immediately had to assess, what was wrong with me, what could be done, what they were going to do, how they were going to get me out from where I was in the bed and down the stairs to the ambulance. And I wasn't happy to move at all, although I was happy to see them, and I knew that I had to move. So, I mean, they had to be quite firm about it, that, well, you will have to move one way or another, but we'll help you. And I would say that, right from the start, they kind of gave over this sense of, well, yes, firmness, because they had to do this, but a kind of kindness about it, that they were going to do it in the best possible way. And also that they knew what they were doing. They knew that they could try different ways of doing it. So, okay, they were going to get me into this chair. That in itself was difficult, getting from the bed, one step or two steps to this chair. They made it as easy as they could. And again, it was this, so they did it very respectfully, kindly, but they had to do it. And it was clear that they knew what they were doing. And right through the whole episode, I would say that the sense that they knew what they were doing was there. And that, that gave me, and I'm sure it gave my wife, quite a lot of confidence that, that this would turn out all right. They got me out of the bedroom to the top of the stairs, and again, they had to work out what to do to get me down the stairs. There's a bend in the stairs, a turn in the stairs, and I think they found that quite awkward, because at the turn, at one side of the step is quite narrow. So they had to work out how to do this, and they had to work out who was going to go in the front, who was going to go at the back. So they got me down the stairs, didn't take very long, out into the ambulance, gas and air all the time. Obviously neighbours become interested in a chap up the road, Archie, who we're quite friendly with. He came down, asked what was going on. But, I was fairly oblivious of all that. Couldn't care less about that. They got me into the ambulance, and again they had to move me from the chair thing onto the sort of bed trolley thing they have in the ambulance, which they did. That worked, as far as I remember, quite smoothly. So we got to the Western. Again, I think it's a trolley, so I think they were able to wheel me out and into the hospital, and then the nursing staff took over. So it was for me, it was a good experience at a bad time. I would say that once it was established that the NHS 24 people were phoning an ambulance and an ambulance would come, I think that was a big relief to her, because she'd done all that she could, and another agency was going to step in and give the kind of help that was needed. And obviously she's kind of looking out the window when they're going to come. And they came very quickly, I'm glad to say. And she said, oh, they're here. And from that point on, really, I mean, she was involved in the sense of giving them information, obviously showing them where I was and so on, and any information that would be helpful. But I think she was probably immensely relieved that they were there and they seemed to know what they were doing. And she came in the ambulance and all of that and came into the hospital with me. But really at that point, she didn't have to take responsibility anymore because there was a competent professional agency which was taking responsibility.